don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help, not just from your colleagues, but from us at Demonstrated Success as well. If you have ideas on things you need to learn, please send us a note. We'd love to hear that. Chances are, if you're looking for it, other people might be as well, and it might be a great opportunity for us to create another webinar to teach or facilitate some learning for all of you folks as well. Again, thank you to the New Hampshire Department of Ed. This is Lindsey Mitchell, and she's wonderful at what she does, and we're ready to learn using Khan Academy in your instruction and professional development. Thank you, Lindsey.
All right.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Big thing. For those of you that have questions along the way, there's a little Q&A tab you can click on and just type in your question, and I will interrupt Lindsey when I can to go over your question. And if she doesn't answer it while she's showing the slides to you, then she will certainly answer it at the end. And if doesn't know the answer, we will get the answer and get back to you. And tomorrow in your inbox, you will get an email from us, and it will have a link to the PowerPoint. It will also have your professional development certificate for you to download. So I think now I've covered it all. All right, sorry about that, Lindsey. Your turn.
No problem. Can you hear me well right now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so using Khan Academy in your instruction and professional development.
Lindsey, can we start by saying who this is appropriate for? Someone just asked, is this appropriate for second grade?
Yes, this would be appropriate for second grade. There are some tools in here that are probably more geared for the high school ages, but there are tools that are appropriate for second grade.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, just a quick introduction here. My name is Lindsey Mitchell. I have been a classroom educator for over 15 years. I've taught everything from 2-year-olds to adults. Okay, I've taught mainly in middle school and high school. I have also taught at Montessori schools and charter schools as well. I have been an online teacher for 12 years with the Virtual Learning Academy. I have a CAGS in Educational Leadership, Master's in Public Administration, and I'm working on my second Master's in Education, focusing in instructional design technology, which is mainly online course design. And my main interest is in micro-learning using micro-modules. I presented at conferences, and I've been published twice through Edutopia. And Anne sort of helped me put this together, and a little bit is her information here as well. At the end of the slides, there is my contact information. So in case you have any additional questions, don't be afraid to email me as well. My goal through this training is really to try to have this done in about 50 minutes, I'm hoping, so that we can have time to ask additional questions and anything that you might need. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, thanks to the New Hampshire Department of Education, and also thanks to you for your dedication to your students. I know it's an extreme understatement to say these are stressful times. There's really not much else I can say. I do teach full-time in the classroom as well at Pinkerton Academy, and we're getting ready to go back as well. And I know this is very stressful for parents, for teachers, for all of us, okay? Please ask any question that you have in the chat. I wanna make sure I address all of these. As much as I have ideas of what I wanna talk about here, I most importantly wanna make sure I can address your questions and make this a meaningful hour of your time. All right, at NewHampshireLearnsRemotely.com, there is a whole host of information supported by Demonstrated Success on what we offer you as educators. There's a great amount of resources as well. Now, our goals for today, my goal is that you can identify at least 3 tools that Khan Academy offers us as educators or potentially as parents. We can identify one way I can use Khan Academy in my professional development, and I can identify the different processes to set up Khan Academy for my classroom or my students or my child, and I can give one way I can use Khan Academy to track student progress and understanding. All right, so Khan Academy. Essentially how it was started is the founder started making videos to help a younger relative understand different math concepts, and it's grown from there. So Khan Academy has lessons and assessments for grades K through 12, and it's free for everyone. And I'll say that again, it is 100% free for everyone. There is a wide range of topics. Khan Academy first started mainly for math, and it has very much expanded since then. And Khan Academy can also be used as professional development to practice knowledge. It can be for parents, districts, teachers, and learners as well. So this is sort of an overview. If you go into Khan Academy, these are the types of topics. For, I believe you had a question whether there is information for second grade. There is. There's math, pre-K to 8th grade. There's math, get ready courses. The focus, I do think, is mainly in the math and sciences right now, but that doesn't mean they're not expanding. For example, if you take a look here, you can definitely see there's a lot in math. There is items in the arts and humanities. There is also economics, reading, and language arts. Okay, there is test prep for the SAT and LSAT. How it works is within each topic, there will be different mini lessons that you can go do. The one question I saw ahead of time, excuse me, is whether there is lessons, for foreign language. At this point, I don't believe there is. It doesn't mean it's not in its development stage, but right now I don't know of that. Khan Academy also offers an app as well for the younger students. I have 2 children. I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. My 6-year-old does use Khan Academy. Okay. So I'm going to pause for a minute right now. Are there any questions just about Khan Academy, the topics offered, whether it's free? Any questions at this point?
No, nothing come up, so nothing.
Okay.
Nothing yet.
All right, so if we look a little bit deeper, there are different topics and lessons that you can assign to your students in classes. You can also choose to take them yourself. I believe here, this was something from a language arts module that I pulled up. So for example, you can see different topics that could be assigned.
Excuse me, let me just interrupt for 1 minute. Can everyone see her screen, or there's one person that said they have a black screen. I want to make sure everyone else can see the screen. If anyone else is having trouble seeing the screen, let me know in the Q&A or chat box. Thank you. Oh, someone says, I can see the screen. It says Lindsey is sharing her screen. Can you see the PowerPoint? Can you see the slides is what I should be asking. Can you see the slides? So as long as you can, if you cannot see the slides, let us know. You should be seeing the slides. And actually someone did, because they noticed that Khan was spelled incorrectly 2 slides in.
Oh my goodness.
One person has a problem. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, Lindsey. Keep going. Now I can answer the question. Thank you.
All right. So pretty much how can we go make sure? All right. So how can Khan Academy be used? So the first thing is it can be used for pre-assessments. You can assign students different learning modules to see what they know. It can also be used for supplemental instruction. You can assign students different lessons or activities on areas where they need help. I think that's actually a really good tool for Khan Academy. There are formative assessments. You can check in before upcoming assessments, okay? And the last one is to refresh your own knowledge, to get ideas for your own assessments and explanations. Because let's be honest, sometimes there are different ways to explain things. Sometimes our students just don't simply understand it, or we need to refresh our own knowledge. So these are sort of the main ways I have seen Khan Academy used successfully. And in particular, the professional development is where it has been most useful, okay? I'm seeing some comments in the chat. Are we good to continue?
You're all set.
Okay. All right. So when you assign specific content to a student, these will show up in their homepage under assignments. So for example, if I had an Algebra 1 class, I could assign all of these different topics to my students. You could assign them as a whole class. You could also assign them as to specific individuals. So for example, I took screenshots of the different processes of doing this. You could assign 31 items. And for each one of these, I could assign them to all of my students. If I clicked on the drop-down menu under students, I could actually have assigned these to specific students as well. So evaluating student work. There's pretty much two ways you can sort of use Khan Academy to evaluate student progress. The first way is you do have a grade book for all your students. I don't have one projected right here just due to privacy concerns, but you can also see how they're achieving on the different levels.
Lindsey?
Yes.
Someone asked, can you just go over again quickly, how do you send them to Khan and reference the assignment again? Someone missed the connection part. That's definitely worth reviewing for everyone, I think.
Okay, so what we're going to show after this one,
okay,
going to set up a classroom where you assign students to a class.
Perfect. That's the next question on. Perfect. So that's all coming. All right, great. Thank you.
But yeah, you will assign them to a class and you can assign the assignments. But this here is the progress report. You can get an idea of where a student's skills are as well. So the two ways to kind of take data, you do get a virtual grade book, if you will, and you will get to see how students are doing on each of the different assignments that you assign them. But then you can also get a progress report as well. Okay, so first of all, as I said before earlier, and I apologize for misspellings, what we will do is, I will go make sure I see these later, but anyway, you will set up your classroom. So in Khan Academy, you can set it up free with a Gmail account. So once you set it up, you're going to add a new class. Okay, this is an example of me making some for you folks here, okay? There's also, as you can see, free Academy teacher training. So you'll click to add a new class. And then you're going to name your class. You can also import from Google Classroom as well. And I think I'm seeing some questions coming up on the chat. How are we doing right now?
We're doing well. You just answered, can you link Khan Academy to a Google Classroom was a question. So we said yes. Do students have to sign up for Khan? Can we assign them segments in Google Classroom?
Yes, should be able to do that. What's your next question?
How do we set up a teacher dashboard? I thought we would provide a link in Google Classroom. And there's another one after that. If you want to answer that. Is that coming? Will you show
yes.
it? Okay, so that's coming, Francine. And then Shannon, is this vetted in New Hampshire specifically regarding having a grade book? You know, the new law going into effect this summer for privacy.
I believe so, but that's something you're going to want to double check with your school district on that one. I would definitely double check with your school district on that one.
Okay, great.
Right. All right, so pretty much I'm thinking this will kind of answer a lot of those questions. So
what I think.
There's 3 ways to add students to your account. One is invite through Google Classroom. It's the fastest and easiest way to invite your students. students join with a class link. You email or share a link or have your students use a class code. That is probably also a good one. The last one is create your students' accounts. You'll enter your students' names and they'll make passwords that you can later customize, okay? The most important part is to take a look at the bottom. Before inviting students, please notice that Khan Academy assumes you've received parent permission for any student to add to your class. So you really want to make sure you go through that process as well. And parents also get a parent account when their child signs up for Google Classroom. That's Google Classroom, excuse me, for Khan Academy. So they will need to make sure they do that as well. Personally, I think the easiest way to do it is to invite through Google Classroom. Does everyone here pretty much use Google Classroom?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you're saying yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then what will happen is once they create an account, the student will have a student dashboard. And they can go to My Courses and they should be able to see the work that's assigned to them. Any other questions before I move forward on this? We're actually doing really well on time right now.
Can it be uploaded through Seesaw?
Ooh. I don't know, but I can find out for you. I would think so, because Seesaw can do a lot of amazing things, but I can find that one out for you.
That would be great. Okay.
All right, any other questions before?
Nope, we're gonna get to the teacher dashboard, more of the teacher dashboard.
Yes, we should.
How to provide that, okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, examples of setting up your learning. This is more for the professional development piece. You can personalize Khan Academy into whatever your needs are. All right, so if you're an adult learner, as you can see right here, I put grad school and I can pick courses as well. So the other great tool for Khan Academy is that you can use it for your own professional development purposes. So for example, if you're teaching a course that you have not taught in a while and you want to refresh your knowledge, you can go do that as well. And that's just a quick piece on that one. All right, so we're going to talk very briefly about some best practices right here. And the first is I recommend that Khan Academy is a good supplemental tool. I don't believe it should be a replacement for class instruction. It's great to assign, okay, we're not understanding this concept, but let's add another supplemental resource to give another way to explain things. That can be very useful. It can be a good pre-assessment. And then I would test it out with a sample student first, just to make sure you have everything set up all right. And or start off with your most capable class. Start off with the one, as teachers, we know we all have different classes with many different skill sets. And you want to start off with one of those first to make it a little bit easier, okay?
A couple questions here, actually from the previous slide, I think it just came through. Is parent approval only needed when creating a class there? I've previously used Khan as links in Google Classroom. Is parent approval only needed when creating a class there, or do they always need parent approval?
Where I've had the biggest issues with needing parent approval is when you create your student accounts. That's where I've run into that recently. Google Classroom, the link there has been a little bit the most efficient, is what I would say. Does that answer the question?
I think so. Francine, let me know if that doesn't. And then someone wrote, what if you can't get parents to complete the parent notice? Is there a way for your students to access it?
Yes, what they can do is you can tell them, let me go back here. they can still go find the topics and they can still go find the lessons in here as well.
Thank you. And then it says Khan Academy will not sign, I don't know what this means, will not sign the DPA, but I believe the SDPC has approved it. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if you do.
I'm not sure on that one.
Okay. Kristen, if you want to elaborate on that, I don't know what that, oh, data privacy agreement.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
I apologize, it's 9:30 a.m.
A lot of acronyms. I know it. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Go ahead, Lindsay. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so again, you can also sometimes, how I've seen teachers use this before, where they were having trouble with the students getting to the lessons, is the students just created their account, they went into different topics in here, and they did screenshots of their scores on different topics as well. So that's another way that students can access the topics. Okay. So one other area I know that was asked, I'm trying to go to my screen and my dashboard here. Apologize when I'm flipping through this on you all really, really early. All right, so this is an example of like what the student dashboard looks like. These are the different classes that are assigned in. If I clicked on those, I would see the actual students, and then I would see what their scores were on different topics as well. And I'm seeing some questions coming up right now.
You know, someone mentioned, and thank you, Diane, she wrote, it's a great first week activity for the students, Synchronia sign up. That's a nice idea.
That's personally what I would suggest. What age groups are we all teaching right now? Are we high school? Are we middle school? Are we elementary?
I don't know. People, if you want to send it out in the chat, or the elementary, grade 4, grade 11, grade 10, second. So we've got it all, high school to elementary, grade 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Wide range.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend this if you're doing any face-to-face or hybrid or options where you're meeting with the kids live, even if it's live remotely. This would be a good first day to get kids signed up. Okay. Because as we all know, a lot of times the technology can be a little funny sometimes. Khan Academy is really a great resource. It truly does offer a lot. The biggest thing that I have found with it is there's a little bit of a learning curve of getting it set up. The most successful has been through the link through Google Classroom for me. Me personally, that has worked the best.
Okay. Oh, this is a great question. Well, someone's also on here from preschool. Can the image be personalized on the class page? There's an 8th grade teacher asking that. That's a great question.
I am not sure on that one, because I've never personalized, honestly. I can go find that answer for you probably when this is over, and I can answer that for you.
That would be great. We'll get back to you. And then, yeah, there's, just so you know too, there's a number of special ed people on as well.
And I think for that as well, where that could be useful, it could provide that supplemental resources we're looking for. And that's really, I think, the powerful tool of Khan Academy. And you can also see where their progress is. Are they doing better? Okay.
Okay.
Are there any other questions, comments, anything?
Let me see here. I had some issues with this last spring with students telling me they did the reading video watching assignments, but it did not show up in my dashboard as being completed. The most likely explanation is that they didn't really do it, but if they did not log in, would that also account for the assignment not being completed in my dashboard?
Yeah, that would make sense, because I had a similar thing happen with some students, and they had 2 Gmail accounts, and they were doing it somehow through another Gmail account. So what a good best practice could be is, if they've claimed that they've done it, they should be able to give you a screenshot of their scores, because their own personal learning dashboard should show them their scores on different assessments.
Okay, so they should be able to screenshot their scores. That's great. And then, does Khan Academy read everything to younger students K through 3, or will students need someone to read questions and other items to them?
Ooh. Most of my experience has been middle school and high school, and a lot of those didn't have audio. I'm going to pose this one to the people attending. Since the K through 3 is a pretty new aspect, I believe, of Khan Academy right now, has anyone else used it?
Okay, let's see what they say. And then while we're waiting for that answer, there are a couple of people that would like to know if you can go through and show them how to link it on Google Classroom. I've worked with Khan kids and it reads to them. Thank you.
Perfect.
And actually up to 6th grade, someone else wrote, my daughter's in 6th grade.
Perfect.
Read. And then, yeah, someone else also agreed with you to screenshots are the best. I have issues with my middle school kids during remote learning, and that's what they asked for. And thank you, Barbara, who also wrote, Khan Academy also provides lengthy training, which Barbara found helpful as well. So,
All right.
Thank you. Okay. That's it. I got it all.
All right. Perfect. Okay. Thank you for all of you in contributing. That's why I love these sessions, is I find a lot of time the attendees share their knowledge, and that's what's really useful. Okay. So again, we just touched on all these best practices. Like we said, start with one class to work out the processes. All right. So the 3 tools that Khan Academy offers, and we are extremely ahead of schedule. Assessments for students, lessons for students, courses and or professional development. And the one way to use Khan Academy for PD, you can take courses yourself to refresh knowledge and learn new ways to explain the processes. And what are the processes to enroll students? You can link to Google Classroom, invite by email, or use a class code. And then how can I track student progress? By using the gradebook or the progress reports or the screenshots. Okay. So before I was going to go into my Khan Academy account in just a minute, I'll have to stop sharing and log in for you folks. Are there any questions before I go do that?
Can you print out some assignments if needed?
You should be able to. The setup might be not as pretty as it looks online, but you should be able to. Are there any other questions before I go into my Khan Academy account? Any others?
Not that I'm seeing, not yet. Just, yeah, that wanting to see if you can show how to link on Google Classroom. I think is the only one we haven't.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's see. There are grade 1 options. Abby Dobson, sorry. There is somebody here that said, I'm a 1st grade teacher. I don't see grade 1 options.
Let me go take a look.
I thought on that main page, it gave all the grades.
All right, give me just a minute here to make sure I'm, all right. So now I'm going to do a screen share and I'll just do a live walkthrough of just like my Khan Academy classroom. Okay.
Great.
All right, so this is my Khan Academy classroom. I picked the one that doesn't have any real students just in terms of privacy purposes. I have a sample kindergarten class. So can everyone see my screen? Are we all good here?
Yes.
Okay. So if I go teacher, there's teacher dashboard. And this is going to work. Okay, here's my teacher dashboard. These are my different classes. If I clicked on the classes, I would see their performance. So all right, I have my 2 students. I only have 2 sample students in this one. Like I said, this was made as a demo class. You can add new students as well. I could also, if I wanted to do something for my students, I could click on them. Actions. I could do whatever I need to do with those. And then if I look at progress, take a look here. Oh my goodness, they've not been doing much, have they? I need to go talk to them. And I could look at assignment scores. Again, they have not done anything yet. These have been assigned. This gives me my activity overview as well. So I believe one of the questions is just sort of show how you get the link. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to my teacher dashboard. And then I'm going to add a new class. Oh my goodness. I'm going to call this, we'll call this webinar sample. I'll put sample. Okay. And then I'm going to pick second grade.
There wasn't first grade listed on there.
Yeah, there wasn't. You're right. It looks like it starts with second grade. And then connect your Google Classroom. Let's see. All right, so this is about as far as I can go without going into my Pinkerton Google Classrooms for you folks. But if you do that, you should be able to put whatever account you have, and you should be able to link it that way. The other way to do it, close this. This is going to cooperate with me. And then once you connect, you'll be able to invite your classroom that way, the Google Classroom.
Super.
All right, does that answer the invite questions that we had?
I believe so. To someone that I just wrote, I've got to find the name. It does have an early math for undergrade 2. There was a section that said early math for undergrade 2.
Okay.
And this is a good question. So do students need an email address?
I would assume so, especially if you're going through Google Classroom, there's going to be some contact point of information.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. So I was going to ask the next question.
Yep. Why don't you ask the next one?
Okay. Can you add different levels to the same class based on kids' needs and present ability levels?
Of course you can. So what I will do is I will, let me go back to the first one. So we're going to add new students. So to kind of touch on the other one, if students definitely do need some point of contact or email, if you choose students joined with a class link, you can copy this link and email it to them and their parent. And then another way to add new students, you can create your students' accounts, and then they'll create their own accounts by using a link or a code as well. So there's usually going to need to be some kind of email account on file.
Okay, and then this is for older people, older kids. I found the SAT practice process to be very cumbersome. Any pointers?
It's sort of the way it's set up. It is a little bit cumbersome. There are parts of Khan Academy that are not the most efficient. That's why I've suggested if you sign up, doing it synchronously is really a good idea. And for your patients, I would recommend 1 or 2 classes a day. It can take a little bit of time to get them set up. So we had one more question on the way back that was talking about what was the other one. I was just finishing up showing how to get set up. And if I've missed a question, please ask away. We got done with the main things I want to talk about. So now my goal here is to walk you through all the different parts of this.
Okay, great. I don't see anything else coming up right now.
I'm seeing Peggy raised her hand.
I don't see that.
Peggy Frostham and Marjorie just raised her hand.
I'm not seeing the hands raised. Hold on, let me pull up my other option. Oh, sorry, hit the wrong button, she said.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I'm using all of your time. I think we might be done a little bit early. My apologies, but we seem to have covered what we needed to. The last thing I sort of wanted to sort of show you was someone just asked, can you assign assignments to specific students? Yes, you can. So if you have a class that's working in Algebra 1 and you can see that 5 students need certain kinds of tools and certain ones don't, you can choose on what you do. So if we're going to go to assignments, I'm going to assign. I'm going to solving equations. And then there's 38 things there. And I can choose that maybe just Anne needs those as well. And I can give a due date as well of when these need to be done. And I can also, I'll give her till the 19th because I'm nice. And then I can do the same question set for all students, just for, or you can actually do different question sets. So now she is getting 38 assignments right now. So there are, you can also assign according to the needs of the students as well.
Great.
Any other questions? Anything else that you want to see in here?
There is another question. Do you have to create a class or can you send specific assessments and lessons to your Google Classroom without having a whole Khan Academy class?
I've only done it with classrooms within Khan Academy. What you could do is you could tell them what class to go do and then just tell them to send you a screenshot. So for example, if you went to courses, let's go to Algebra 2. And then you could tell them polynomial arithmetic.
Gosh.
And you could have them go in, work through this, and send you screenshots of when they get to different things.
Are there help videos if students get stuck?
Yes, there should be all kinds of resources in here as well. The biggest thing with Khan Academy, as I always said, is usually there's a little bit of a learning curve of adjusting to it. They've also expanded their offerings a lot in the past year. This has been a lot more than it was like a year ago. So I do think there is just more coming at this point.
Okay, and another teacher wrote, thank you, Barbara. There are videos and articles throughout Khan to help you with certain tasks on here. Do the questions remain the same or does Khan rotate questions over time? Thinking perhaps students might share their answers.
Well, one of the options when you assign them, you can make the questions different for every student.
Oh, great.
Yep. Any other questions at all while I am in here?
Students can click get a hint and it walks them through a problem, but it is marked wrong because the students didn't do it independently. That's great.
Yeah. That's good information for all of us.
Yep.
Any other questions? Has anyone here had any great successes beyond what we've talked about that you could share with the others on how you've used Khan Academy successfully? Or do you have any others where you've had certain issues and just other best practices that you can think of other than the ones that we have shared so far?
I don't have anything
Okay.
popping up.
All right, perfect. We're going to be done probably a little bit early, and I want to apologize, but I also think it's a beautiful day. So again, we've gone over the main best practices of Khan Academy. Pretty much you can use it for data to track student progress. It's good for supplemental instruction. It's also good for PD to learn new ways to explain things as well.
Oh, we have a couple questions now. Well, one was, I've had great success when using Khan at school with the students. Last year, I did have some trouble getting my students signed in remotely.
Okay.
Someone else, Ginny, wrote, can you talk about the pre-assessments? How do you use those?
Okay. So essentially how I would use a pre-assessment is giving a topic that you know that they probably already know pretty well and assigning that to them, and that being the first test assignment in Khan Academy. Since they already know the topic, it can be used as a way to get them used to the setup of Khan Academy without the stress of having to learn a new topic. That's what I mean by a pre-assessment. So if you have students in Algebra 2, you can pick a very basic topic from Algebra 1 and just ask them to go in and do these sets of assignments. They get comfortable logging in. They get comfortable with how to find their classroom. You make sure they're in there correctly. So it kind of gives a low risk way to do it. And that's what I mean by a pre-assessment.
Can you review the sign-up process to connect the students to Khan and Google, please?
Okay.
And do you have any views of assignments, lessons available on Khan for elementary? I think they're just going to have to go through and click on it themselves, correct?
Yeah, a lot of this is a little bit of a self-exploration type process. So these are the 3 ways to add: invite through Google Classroom, have students join with the class link, and then create your students' accounts. When we went through the process here, you can just import right from the invite to Google Classroom as well. And I'm hoping that answered that first question. The second question was asking just to see what the lessons look like for a level. Was that what that person wanted to see, what it looked like for a?
I think they can go on. Do you have any views of assignments, lessons available on Khan for elementary? So I think they should probably go on and click on the level that they want, correct?
Yep, that's what I would do. I would go in there and take a look at the lessons and just see what makes sense for you and your students, because each student's different and each class is different.
And I'd like to just repeat to everyone as well that this PowerPoint will be sent to you tomorrow along with your professional development certificate. So you'll be able to download both or print out both, whatever you'd like. And Lauren wants to know, can we please restate the New Hampshire law for Gradebook and Khan Academy? Let me go up.
Right. So the Gradebook and the law for Khan Academy, pretty much like how do you use it and things like that?
I believe so. She just wrote, would you please restate New Hampshire? Oh, thank you, Kelly. She wrote, this is how it has been approved in New Hampshire, active with the following restrictions. The New Hampshire Commissioner indicates that New Hampshire districts can use Khan Academy because it meets the New Hampshire minimum standards. He indicates if the school sets up the student accounts, it is fine. If the student sets up the account themselves, it is not okay. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that.
Thank you very much.
All written in the chat, if anyone wants to see that.
Yeah, and exactly. And I would also, whatever you do, what I tell everyone for every new technical tool, double check with your department head, double check with your administrator, make sure you can use this. That, even though there's the laws, I'm not a lawyer. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Make sure you always talk to your appropriate administrators and leadership within your buildings and district.
Okay. Barbara said, when I did the training on Khan Academy, so for everyone to refresh, you can do training right on Khan Academy. When I did the training, they said to click on a piece of content and you can view the exercise, watch the video, or read the article before assigning it. Also, the person who wants to see an example should search a topic of their choice and they will see examples. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Barbara. All right. Is there any other questions? Because I have covered the main topics that I wanted to do. We ended with about 15 minutes ahead of time.
Take the participants off mute. People can talk as well if they feel more comfortable with that at this point.
Yep, I can do that. Let me hold on a minute. I'll just stop share. Participants. Yeah, attendees. All right. Anyone, if you have any questions or comments, things you'd like to share, you're welcome to unmute yourselves and talk if you would like. If there's any questions you have, any concerns.
I don't see any other questions popping up.
All right, so I guess I'll just do the final thing and we can release you a little bit early.
Linda wrote, we could spend the next 15 minutes exploring Khan Academy.
Yeah, actually, that would be very useful. What we could do is I'll just quickly do the webinars. What we'll do is if you want to go into your own Khan Academy account and take 10 minutes and make sure you can set yours up. And then if you have any questions, we can try to help you make sure you get your account set up.
Great idea.
And this is just.
Oh, it says we can't unmute ourselves. The option has been removed from us. Ooh,
Oh.
When I said it, I muted all panelists. I thought
Right.
unmute. I'm sorry about that, guys.
All right. So what I would like you to do is how about you you go double check, make sure you can create your own Khan Academy account. So you're welcome to chat if you have any questions right here. I will be here to make sure you can get your account set up so you can go through and explore yourself. And hopefully this has been useful. Thank you so much for all the people that shared their knowledge. I know I learned a lot from you. Whenever I attend these sessions, I learn just as much as, if not more, hopefully, than the participants as well. And thank you so much for being here for our students and being here for each other during these tough times.
And please don't hesitate to check back on the Demonstrated Success website. You'll see webinars coming up. We're constantly changing them, tweaking them based on what people would like to have more information on and learn a little bit more on. So check back and you will see new postings almost weekly, but at least every other week or so.
All right, perfect. So like I said, if you are all set with your Khan Academy account, I guess we're just gonna end a little bit early, but if you would like to get yours set up, I will stay here, and so will Beth as well, and we can kind of help you make sure your account's set up correctly, okay?
All right.
You click on Add New Class right here. And this should let you add a class. The biggest thing you need to check, Lisa, is make sure you're logging in under your school account. If you're logging under a personal account, there could be a restriction there. This is all done through my school account right now.
Okay, and then someone said, what if I don't know my class list yet? I connected to Khan Academy through Google Classroom, but it is telling me to add a class. I really just want to see the assignments I can assign.
Okay, so they just want to know what kind of assignments they can assign?
Yes.
All right, so what you could do is you could just right now make a sample class. Okay, so for example, add a new class. I'll put sample class. I'm not going to import, I'll put sample class A. I'm going to pretend I teach 7th grade. I'm going to skip right now connecting to a Google Classroom. And then I'm going to find exercise and articles for my class. Okay. So where is sample class? I'm going to move myself over here. Right here, assignments, I'll click on that. I'm going to assign some assignments. And then now I can just start picking, I can click on this to see what's going to be covered. I can watch the video. And I can even assign just little specific videos if I want to. But I'm going to assign the missing numbers in that assignment. I'll move myself over here so you can see what I'm doing. I click on assign. And then right now I could assign this to whatever students were in my class. But again, I need students to actually assign them. So some of this, what might be useful is to set up, like I said before, as a sample class, and then have a spouse, friend, colleague, whatever, become a student in your class. And then you can practice assigning assignments to them.
Okay, and then another great question. Do all units take about the same time to complete for planning purposes, or is each unique? So could some lessons be 10 minutes and some 30?
I think some are going to be unique, honestly. The biggest thing I can tell you as someone who's worked in online courses through Virtual Learning Academy for 12 years, they tell you a lesson will take 7 minutes. Sometimes it takes 15. It's going to vary a little bit. I mean, right here, they give you, they tell you how long each one is. So take it for what it's worth. That's why personally, I would start off with their first set of assignments through Khan Academy, something that they know probably already really well. That way the students and you can adjust to the whole setup. That's usually a pretty good best practice. Any other questions?
How can I assign the course challenge to my students as a pre-assessment tool?
How can I find the course challenge as a pre-assessment tool? So are you talking about like what I was showing you earlier with the courses?
No, it's how can I assign the course challenge to my students as a pre-assessment tool?
Okay.
So how can she, earlier you had mentioned like if you're starting Algebra 2, maybe go into the Algebra 1 lessons. And
okay. All right, so what you could do, let's go into courses. Let's go to Algebra 1. It says take the course challenge to level up on what you already know. So what you could do is you could tell the students to go and do this, and then I'll put start course challenge. Let's go. And then they go through and they do these, and they can take a screenshot of their scores at the end and turn that in. For the Khan Academy, for when you sign up for the lessons themselves, you have to specifically assign those to the students. Something like the course challenge, it would probably just be the most efficient to tell them to go do it and then just send you a screenshot of their score at the end.
great. All right. I don't see any other questions coming up. Hang on another minute, just in case.
Yep.
Nothing in chat. I think we're good. I think we're good. Lindsey, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for participating. Don't forget that tomorrow your certificate will show up in your email along with the link to these slides. And don't forget to check out demonstratedsuccess.com for more webinars coming up. Also, you can go to our YouTube page and view past webinars as well. And write to me after that, Elizabeth, or at .dion@Demonstrated Success or info@Demonstrated Success. And we can send you a PD certificate for that too if you need that. But thank you again, Lindsey. That was a terrific overview. We appreciate your time, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. It was nice to have the questions and have your interest. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, stay healthy, be well. Bye-bye.